He was the king of pop, a global icon whose music and dance moves defined a generation. But behind the sequined glove and the moonwalk, there was a man grappling with a painful past and a relentless pursuit of perfection. This is the story of Michael Jackson, the boy who conquered the world, but could never quite escape the shadows of his own life. Our story begins on August 29, 1958 in Gary, Indiana. A town of gray streets and low skies, a working-class world where dreams often felt distant. It was here, amidst the hum of factories and the struggles of everyday life, that a star was born. Michael Joseph Jackson, the eighth of 10 children, possessed a talent that was impossible to ignore. But his gift would be forged not just in passion but also in fear. His father, Joseph Jackson, was a man with a dream of his own. He saw a way out of poverty through his children's talent, and he pursued it with an iron will. The Jackson Five was born, a band of brothers who would soon take the world by storm. Their energy was infectious, their harmonies perfect. They became a global phenomenon, the smiling faces of a musical revolution. But the smiles the world saw on stage often hid a much darker reality. Behind the curtains, Michael's childhood was anything but ordinary. It was a spectacle, a relentless series of rehearsals, performances, and public appearances, all orchestrated by his father. Joseph's control was absolute. Rehearsals were grueling, lasting for hours on end. Mistakes were not tolerated. Instead of the warmth and encouragement a child needs, Michael often received harsh criticism and physical punishment. The fear he felt in those moments, as he would later confess, became a ghost that haunted him for the rest of his life. His childhood was stolen, traded for fame and fortune. By the late 1970s, Michael was ready to break free. He yearned for artistic independence, a chance to find his own voice away from the shadow of his family and his father. In 1979 he released Off the Wall. The album was a revelation. A brilliant fusion of disco, pop, and soul. It was fresh, sophisticated, and undeniably his. The world saw a new Michael Jackson, a solo artist stepping confidently into the spotlight. But underneath the glittering surface, the wounded child remained, still seeking the approval and love he never felt he received. Then came 1982, the year everything changed. The year Thriller was unleashed upon the world. It wasn't just an album, it was a cultural event. With its groundbreaking music videos and iconic dance moves, Thriller redefined what pop music could be. It shattered records, topped charts, and made Michael Jackson the biggest star on the planet. He was no longer just a singer. He was a living legend, a phenomenon. Every spin, every high note, every glide of the moonwalk sent audiences into a frenzy. But fame is a strange and isolating thing. The brighter Michael's star shone, the deeper the emptiness inside him seemed to grow. The constant criticism from his father during his childhood about his nose, his skin, his voice had planted seeds of self-doubt that now blossomed into a profound struggle with his own identity. He began to alter his appearance, seeking a perfection that always seemed just out of reach. He built Neverland Ranch, a fantastical world where he could perhaps reclaim the childhood he never had. It was a place of innocence and wonder, but it also highlighted his increasing detachment from the outside world. In 1984, during the filming of a Pepsi commercial, disaster struck. A pyrotechnics accident set his hair on fire, causing severe second- and third-degree burns to his scalp. The physical pain was immense, but the emotional scars ran even deeper. This accident marked a turning point. To manage the excruciating pain from his injuries and subsequent surgeries, he was prescribed powerful painkillers. It was the beginning of a long and dangerous relationship with prescription medication, a dependency that would follow him for years. As the 1990s dawned, the glitter and magic began to fade, replaced by the dark clouds of scandal. The man who had been a hero to millions suddenly found himself at the center of serious and disturbing accusations. The media frenzy was relentless. His personal life became a public spectacle, his every move scrutinized and judged. Though he was ultimately acquitted in a highly publicized trial, the damage to his reputation was immense and irreversible. The artist who dreamed of uniting the world with his music was now one of its most isolated and persecuted figures. He felt betrayed, misunderstood, and utterly alone. For years, he retreated from the public eye, his health and spirit broken. But the fire to perform, the desire to connect with his audience, never truly died. In 2009, he announced a final comeback, a series of 50 concerts in London titled This Is It. It was meant to be his grand finale, a triumphant return to the stage. Rehearsal footage shows a man who, despite his physical frailty, could still summon the magic. The talent was still there, the passion still burned. But behind the scenes, his body and mind were at their breaking point. Years of chronic pain, insomnia, and the immense pressure of the comeback tour had taken their toll. The painkillers and sedatives, once used to manage his pain, had become his only companions in a lonely, sleepless world. He was pushing himself beyond his limits, driven by a desire to give his fans one last spectacular show. On June 25, 2009, the world stood still. The news spread like wildfire. Michael Jackson was gone. He died from an accidental overdose of a powerful anesthetic administered by his personal physician. The King of Pop was dead at the age of 50. The This Is It tour would never happen. The world mourned. We mourned the loss of a musical genius, an unparalleled entertainer, a cultural icon who changed music forever. But we also mourned the loss of the man, the human being who had lived such a complex and tragic life in the full glare of the public eye. Michael Jackson's legacy is not just in the hundreds of millions of records sold, the countless awards, or the dance moves emulated by people in every corner of the globe. His story is a powerful, and often painful, reminder that behind every idol, there is a human being. A person with vulnerabilities, with pain, and with a deep-seated need for love and understanding. He dreamed of healing the world with his music, of creating a place of love and unity. And in many ways he did. His voice, his dance, and his message of hope and harmony transcended borders and generations. They touched the souls of millions, and they continue to do so today. Because in the end, beyond the legend, beyond the myth, Michael Jackson was, above all else, a person who just wanted to be loved. Thanks for watching.